Hey friends, it's Ruben with Hi-Fi MIDI. This video is the first in a series of 12-bar blues electric guitar programming lessons. I'm using two electric guitars, one for rhythm and one for a lead. I'll start with the rhythm guitar since it involves an intermediate level of MIDI programming. Then I'll focus on the lead solo, which is more advanced. Here's the entire track you'll be creating with me. The first thing we'll do is open our rhythm guitar. I'm using AGSC because it has a bright sound that's great for rhythm. I'm using the middle bridge library to give me a gritty tone that'll be easy to hear below the other instruments. I'm also using the 57 Delight, which is based on a Fender 57 Deluxe guitar amp. Pre-drive is off. Tone is set to 5. Volume is at 8. And master level is at 4.5. However, you can adjust it to your liking. I've turned off delay in the effects menu as well because I want the rhythm to be tight. Once you're happy with your rhythm guitar's tone, you need to set your DAW's BPM to 130. Next, set your time signature to 12/8. This means that there are 12 eighth notes in every measure, with the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th eighth notes getting the accent. 12/8 contains 3 eighth notes on every beat, like a swung 4/4, which has 3 eighth note triplets on each beat. We'll be using both Riffer and your DAW's MIDI editor for this series of exercises. Next, go into your rhythm guitar's Riffer page, create a new riff, then set your meter to 6/8. Riffer does not yet have 12/8 as an option. However, and this is where things can get really confusing, one measure of 6/8 within Riffer will cover one measure of 12/8 in your DAW. This needs to be fixed in future updates, but for now we can work with it. Riff quantize needs to be set to 1/8. If you get different time results in your DAW, please let me know in the comments. Next, set your default note velocity to 100. Then we can begin programming. For clarity, we need to ignore the measure beat numbers above the string roll. Otherwise, chaos may ensue and you may get very frustrated. To help you, each line will represent 1/8 note in the 12/8 rhythm. There's 12 in total. Okay, let's get started with the actual note input. A blues rhythm has this swung feel, so dum ba dum ba dum ba dum. That means one note is going to be longer than the other. And in the case of this exercise, the first note or the first chord is a quarter note. So that's going to take up 2 of these spaces. So on our E1 string, we can go up to the 5th fret, which is an A, and then above that is going to be an E. On the 7th fret. Now we can take that and duplicate it by holding down Option on Mac and going to the 3rd space. And then to the next space, and then skipping a space. Bum, 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 bum. So let's hear that. That sounds good. Now these 2 notes right here are going to go to the 9th fret, which is an F sharp. And already you can hear it's starting to take form. So this note is a quarter note, so that's going to take up 2 spaces, but we're going to go to this beat right here. Now this note is going to be a C sharp, which is on the 9th fret. And then there are 3 eighth notes following that. On the 5th string, we have an E to an F sharp. And then on the 4th string, we have an A. Let's listen to that. These first few notes are going to be palm muted, and we're going to legato those. This note's overlapping, so I can either drag it back or I can press restrict. I'm just going to drag it back. I want this note to slide in. And then I want this note to hammer onto this one. Next, I want the quarter notes to have an accent on them, so I'm going to add a little sound here. I think a silent stroke sounds fine. I'll decrease the volume a little bit, maybe to 60. I don't want it to be too loud. And I'm going to drag it right below the quarter notes. Now we can make this longer. I'm going to make this 4 measures long. So the palm mute section is the same on the 2nd measure, and I'm going to drag these and copy them. The 3rd measure is the same as the 1st, so I'll copy this to the 3rd measure. Now let's work on the 2nd measure. Here we have an 8th note on string 6, fret 5. That's an A, so it's in the right spot. Then we have another 8th note on string 2 and 3, fret 5. This top note is actually going to go all the way across, and this bottom note, it's going to go up to C sharp. But this note hammers on, so I'm going to select that C3, select hammer on, pull off. Let's listen. I want to listen to it at full volume. And finally, on the 4th measure, we have a trotting rhythm throughout, and it's going up chromatically. So we have an A on the bottom, an E. We'll go ahead and drag that to a quarter note value. And then the next one is an 8th note. And let's go ahead and copy that. So as you can see, it's going from 5 to 7 on the bottom note. So we're just going to go up 2 values. And from 7, we're going to 8. So let's drag this, and then let's go up 1 value. And then from 8, we're going to 9. So let's drag this, and then go up 1. Let's listen to that. Now I want to add some accents to that as well. Let's listen. Now we can drag it into our track. Now that we've finished the first section of rhythm, we can use it as the basis for the next chords. A very standard chord progression in blues is the 1-4-1-5-7-1-5-7 progression. All this means is that in the key of A major is the 1 chord, D major is the 4 chord, and E7 is the 5-7 chord. So all we need to do is transpose from here and make some minor alterations. This is very easy to do in Riffer. So we're going to take the first 2 measures and select all the notes. Don't select the effects. And we're going to drag that up to a D. So that here's A1, it's going to go up to D. Let's listen to those measures. I'm going to limit this to 2. That sounds good. It sounds a little too mellow though. So I'm going to want to drag these to the higher strings. Now I can drag that. So there's only 2 measures of the 4 chord. And then it goes back to the 1 chord on measure 7. But it only plays for half of its value. So instead of changing within Riffer, I could just simply copy and paste this and delete half of the MIDI region. So I'll take the first 2 measures and copy them to measures 7 and 8. So here we have a 4. Back to the 1. And then on measure 9 we have that 5-7 chord. But that only plays for 1 measure, and then it goes to the 4 on measure 10. We'll get to this part later. I just want to go to the 5 for now. And this is very easy because the 5 is just 2 notes away. So the 5 in this key is E. So make sure that bottom note is E. And it's only 1 measure. So I'm going to limit that to 1 measure. And you don't have to worry about those other notes being deleted because if you go back to 4 measures, they're still there. That's what I love about this program. So go ahead and drop that into measure 9. Friends, I hope you enjoyed this first part of a multi-series in blues riff programming. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and hit the notification bell so you can see when I post the next video, which will cover more of this piece. For more in-depth programming and to learn about all the features of Ample Sound Guitar software, visit hifimidi.com and check out my acoustic and electric guitar courses. Thanks for watching.